Hey guys, I'm out here in the shop and I've got another awesome air gun I just received from pyramydair. They sponsored me to do a review on this gun. This is the Air Arms S510xs TDR. This is a takedown rifle, really compact, lightweight little gun, and we're going to get into it and I'm going to show you as much as I can about this little rifle. Out front of the TDR is a 7-inch Q-Tech moderator. Very effective, very lightweight, and it's very well made. I've taken the end cap off here. It has beautifully machined aluminum baffles in it. And this is a very effective, lightweight moderator, and I really see no reason to change it out. The TDR is shrouded, and it houses the 15.5-inch LW barrel. This gun is known to be very accurate. I've used the S510 model rifles and they've all been extremely accurate guns, and so I'm excited to get this out in the field and do some shooting with it. It's a very beautiful finish on the shroud. I like how they've done the vent holes here. Just a really nice, strong, sturdy system, and it does have a barrel band here that's attached in two places. Out front of the TDR is this little fill cap here. Really nicely machined. I really like how it's made, nice and thick, and has nice threading. This is the fill adapter right here. This just slides on, and then you turn it and you can put your fill whip on here. Now this is a part of these guns that I really just don't like. I wish they would just go ahead and just make it a Foster fitting. It'd be much easier. And the reason that I say that is because I don't like probes, because sometimes they can get lost. You got to be really careful with them. So that's kind of the only drawback. Some people like them. It's not really my preference, but it works very well with this gun. The TDR is regulated, and you're going to get about 26 regulated shots at just about 31 foot-pounds. Now this gun does have 5 increments of power, and really what this is just a restrictor. The lowest power setting, you're going to be at about 12 foot-pounds. The next one up is going to be about 18, and then 24, probably 29, and then full power is going to be about 31, 32 foot-pounds. Really nice feature for if you're inside, a barn, you're shooting rats, and you want to turn the power level down so you're not going to penetrate a backstop, or if you're just target shooting in your backyard and you don't want to use full power, or if you're using really lightweight ammo, you can just kind of fine-tune the gun to suit your needs. Kind of a nice little feature that's definitely grown on me. One thing I've found to note on most of these air arms is the air tubes pick up fingerprints very easily. And so I always like to keep the guns clean, wipe them down, and just try to keep them as clean as possible is really important. The TDR has a beautiful side lever, just really smooth, well built, really nice pin here. You can decock the gun very easily, and it's got the 11mm rail on top here, pretty standard. Plenty of room to move your scope front and back. And this right here is part of how the magazine will function. I'll show that to you in a little bit. We'll turn the gun around. The TDR does have a 2-stage adjustable trigger. It's got the crossbolt safety right here. And one of the little things that just kind of bothers me is it's got this little spring here that's exposed. I don't really like that. I mean, I don't see it being a problem, but I guess you could get some debris in there and it could become an issue. But the trigger on this gun is very nice, very easy to adjust. I like how it came right out of the box. It seems to break at just about under a pound. And so for hunting situations, it seems to work very well. As far as for targets, you might want to adjust it and lighten it up a little, but I'm very happy with it. Underneath this beautiful walnut stock is a manometer. It'll show your fill pressure up to 250 bar. It's got the M-lock on the fore end here This is a really short forend, and I think it's part of what makes the gun feel so compact. And I found that there's plenty of room to hold on to it, and the balance of the gun really fits this stock. I really enjoy the stock. Just a beautiful, nice walnut. And it's not too nice to where you're going to worry about kind of scratching it up. You could wipe it off, and it doesn't have, it doesn't get pressure dents. It seems to be very well made. And I'll get into the M-LOK. I'll probably end up mounting a bipod on the front of here, and I'll show you guys when we're out in the field how to do that. The TDR is a takedown rifle, and underneath the cheek piece here is mag holders. You can hold your magazines underneath here. It's just got these little clips. It secures the magazines. Just a nice little feature, I think, to hold the magazines, and definitely field friendly. They're right here ready for you. I really like this feature. On the left side of the rifle is where you'd put the magazine in. These magazines do not have a spring in them. There's really nothing mechanical that's going to go wrong. They do load very easily. Very easy to turn this and load it. You can see the power adjuster right here. It's got the 5 increments, the plus and minus. And then when you cock the rifle, you can see this mechanism right in here will open up, and you stick the magazine in. Very easy to put in, very smooth, and that will advance each pellet into the chamber. Very easy. Just cocks and it'll move it to the next. I really like these magazines, very simple, and I've never had any issues with this mechanism in the field. The TDR comes in at just over 40 inches, really short, nice compact little gun, and it weighs just over 6 pounds, so it's pretty lightweight. And I really like the addition to the side lever over the old style bolt action. Definitely an improvement on the ergonomics of the rifle. Really easy to cock when it's shouldered. Very simple. Just a very nice, comfortable feeling gun, and I really like the feeling of the walnut cheek piece. The TDR does come in a very nice case. This is a takedown rifle. You can see how compact it is, very easy to travel with. I really like that they've added this. Everything fits in here very nice. There's a place for everything, for the fill probe, for the magazines. It even has a cutout for a tin of pellets, and it has a cutout, for a good size scope. Really like this. Definitely nice to travel with, keeps everything together, and keeps the gun nice and secure for when you're traveling down bumpy roads like I'm known to do. When we pull the rifle out of the case, you'll notice in the back here there is a couple little holes here, and this is where the buttstock is going to go. You can see those 3 pins right there, and that'll keep the gun aligned. And then what we'll do is we'll stick this on, and then on the back here, it's just got this little knob here that you turn, and that will tighten this in place. You can see as I'm tightening it, it's got this little notch right here, and that will keep the buttstock super solid, and it's going to keep it from twisting. And one thing to note about this rifle is it will not fire if the buttstock is removed. So it's just kind of an added safety feature for when you're traveling. This gun's not going to fire, it's not going to lose air. Just a nice added feature. I really like this. Definitely a cool way of attaching this. You can adjust the butt pad quite extensively. It'll go up and down, and I think you actually can turn it, although I haven't tried. Just a really neat feature. It'll fit just about anybody. If you wanted the cheek piece to feel a little bit higher, you could lower the butt pad and vice versa. So just A really beautiful stock. I really like the drilling that they did on the handle here. Very comfortable, very grippy, and it's just a nice looking stock on this gun. I've mounted the MTC Optics Mamba Ultralight. This is the 310x40. Really nice little scope, lightweight, fits the gun really well. I've used the BKL scope mounts. Definitely secure. I've had great luck with these scope mounts. Definitely holds V0 in rugged conditions. And I really like the lower power scopes, you know, because you can turn the magnification down, in this case to 3, and it's got the side focus, really easy to use. And I really like turning the magnification down because you have a nice wide field of view for those targets that are a little bit closer. And sometimes at the higher magnifications, I found that, you know, you have a harder time finding your target quickly. And so I just like keeping the power turned down, and you can turn it up as you need it. Really like this scope. I'm going to take you guys with me, and we're going to head out to the range, do a little bit of shooting with the gun. I just want to set it up for the hunt that we're going to be doing in the next couple days. So we'll head out and check back in. We're out doing a little bit of shooting today with the Air Arms S510xs TDR in 22 caliber. This rifle is putting out just a little over 30 foot-pounds, and it's getting about 25 regulated shots with a 3500 psi fill. Really neat little gun. I've been using it for a good portion of the morning, and I'm getting some pretty good accuracy, even considering we've got some wind here today. I've tried a variety of ammo out of this gun, and I found that the 15.89 grain GSBs seem to work very well out of it. Normally in heavier winds I like to use heavier ammo, but this seemed to group pretty fairly even in this heavy wind, which is variable between 5 and 10 miles per hour. So I'm pretty happy with how these are working. I've got a target set up at 65 yards. We'll take a couple shots, see how the gun does, and check back in. Here's 10 shots at 65 yards. Super happy with this. We've had wind that's up to about 10 miles per hour, blowing from left to right. And in some cases it was actually blowing my point of impact upwards. So I'm really happy with the group on this with the 15 grain JSBs. gun should be awesome for hunting. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the performance of the TDR. Seems to shoot off bags really well. Very predictable, very easy to maneuver, and the side lever is very smooth, and the magazines are super easy to load. Definitely a plus for the field use. Now, I did test this at the varying power levels. At the lowest power level, it puts out about 12 foot-pounds. And so I can see how if you're in a barn, that would definitely become something that you could use, you know, just to turn the power levels down, you know, for rats or at closer range targets. But I prefer the gun to be set around 32 foot-pounds. Ideal for small game hunting. This moderator definitely quiets the gun down considerably. I'm very impressed with how it works. I would have liked to have seen it just a little bit shorter, but it's not a deal breaker because the gun is so short to begin with. I'm excited to get the TDR out in the field, do a little bit of hunting with it. I'm going to take you guys with me for a couple days as usual. We'll just see what it can do, have some fun, and we'll learn a little more about the rifle as we go. I'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, Marley and I came out today. We're going to be doing a little bit of squirrel hunting. This is a newer area that we haven't hunted that often. And as you can see, it's just a lot of trees, just a lot of areas to hike. So we're going to kind of get through here today. Some of the areas are a little thicker. And so I'm just hoping we can have a little bit of luck with some chipmunks and ground squirrels. We'll check back in as we go and we'll talk to you then. Right now we're headed down in this little valley. As you can see, the grass is pretty dry. I'm hoping that down in the bottom here we can find some little pockets of ground squirrels that might be moving around. It is a bit colder, so I'm not really expecting to see much action, but we'll give it a try. We got our first ground squirrel of the day. This one was at 70 yards. Marley and I were way back in the shade underneath the trees there. Awesome shot, perfect headshot. You guys can see on the Takedown. I wasn't really having to hold over too much. Luckily, we're not having much wind at all today, so it's making the shots a lot easier. 22 caliber, using the 15 grain JSBs. Seems to work really well out of this gun. This gun is an absolute tack driver. Really happy with how quiet it is, and I think 30 foot-pounds is ideal for small game hunting like this. You know, it reaches out and you can still keep the gun fairly quiet because it's got kind of a lower power level. I'm excited to move on a little today, see if we can get some more ground squirrels. It has been a bit colder, so I expect the action to be a little slower than usual. But we'll check back in. Hopefully we can have some luck. The one thing about ground squirrels is they camouflage so well in this environment. A lot of times I can sit and there may be a couple right in front of me and I just don't notice them. So it's really important for me just to kind of sit as quiet as I can and kind of scan the area and look, you know, to those areas that I know probably have squirrels. Usually rocks, logs, and usually at the base of these oak trees is a good place to kind of scan. I've had some pretty good success that way. I've seen a couple squirrels in this area. It is getting a bit colder, so I think they're kind of staying in the ground a little more than during spring and summer. But they are here. We'll try to get a few more. I really like being able to keep the magazines underneath here. Very easy to remove. Really a nice feature to have on here for when you're hiking around. You don't have to carry your magazines in your pocket. One thing I did notice is I tightened these springs a little bit with my fingers just so they're a little tighter and there's less of a chance of the magazine getting pulled off by a branch or a piece of my clothing. So I definitely checked that because I noticed it wasn't as tight as it could have been. So after I did that, they seem to be pretty secure in here. Well guys, I had a great time out with the TDR. This is a neat little rifle, gets a good shot count. I really like the side lever, and thankfully the weather was pretty calm today, so I was able to take shots very easily out to 75 plus yards. I like that you can carry the magazines underneath the cheek piece here. Definitely came in handy when I'm hiking around. And it's just a really nice, comfortable gun to shoulder. Shoots offhand really well, and I was just happy that I got to take it out and have some success with it. We're going to head back to the shop and we'll discuss what I liked and what I didn't like about this rifle. We'll talk to you then. As you can see, I had a beautiful day out with the Air Arms TDR. This is a neat, compact little rifle, and it worked really well for the field conditions that I was using it for. I like that it comes with the hard case, made transporting it a lot easier and kept everything very secure on the rifle. I like the fact that it's got a side lever and that I'm able to store the magazines underneath the cheek piece here. Makes using them and getting to them a lot easier. At just over 30 foot-pounds, the gun is very quiet. I like the shot count on it, and I like that it's so easy to take down and put together. Although I was able to add a bipod to it, I've chosen not to use it in the field just to cut down on the weight. This gun is really enjoyable to carry out in the field. Perfect weight, it offhand shoots very well. The grip and the overall feeling of the stock is superb. I'm really impressed with the quality of the wood on this rifle. The overall performance of the TDR worked very well for me in the field. There's really only two things that I noticed that kind of bothered me, and number one was the way that you have to fill it. I'd like to just see this with a standard Foster fitting. I don't necessarily like probes because sometimes they can get lost. I ended up just leaving the probe directly on my fill whip, so I knew I wasn't going to lose it, but I know sometimes it is possible to lose it. So I'd like to see this with just a standard Foster fitting. And while the M-LOK is a nice feature, it does require you to buy an extra adapter to be able to mount a Picatinny rail, so that I was able to mount my bipod, which I had chosen not to use out in the field just because I really didn't feel like adding the extra weight, and I really didn't need it for the conditions that I was in. You guys may be wondering about the camera that I have on the scope here. This is the Takedown 5.0, and I've got the FTS mount, and this will mount to a variety of scopes. And the neat thing about this camera is I'm able to Wi-Fi it directly to my smartphone, so I can play back the videos and I can make adjustments to the camera. It has a lot of awesome features. Pyramydair is going to be carrying this pretty soon, and you guys will see it on their website. I've been using it for about a month and I've had a lot of fun with it. You guys can see from the footage, it takes really clear video. So something to look at. I'm going to be doing a review of this very soon, and I look forward to it. I really want to thank Pyramydair for sponsoring me to go out in the field and show you guys this review. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys were able to learn a little about this rifle. You guys can visit my website at mountainsportairguns.com, and I'll have a full written review of this gun along with all the links of the products that we used on it. I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to you soon.